The Constitution stated that the Union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects. Make a note, boys and girls. All states in the Indian Union do not have identical powers. Some states enjoy a special status, like Jammu and Kashmir enjoyed a special status before 2019. And you know that Article 370 was withdrawn because it had to be an integral part of the country. There are some units which enjoy very little power, and there are areas which are too small to become independent states because they could not be merged with any other state. For example, Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, etc. These are called union territories, and they are run by the central government. Today we have 9 union territories. The sharing of power between the center and the states is basic to the structure of the Constitution. It is not easy to make changes to this power sharing arrangement. Any change to this has to be first passed by both houses of Parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Not only that, it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. Out of 28, 14 states have to ratify this change. Then only can it be passed. We have a powerful independent judiciary which plays an important role in overseeing the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. In case of any dispute about division of power, the High Courts or Supreme Court make a decision. The union and state governments have the power to raise resources by levying taxes in order to carry on the administration of the government. Now, we move on to how is federalism practiced? Constitutional provisions are necessary for the success of federalism. These are not enough. Now we will see why has federalism succeeded in India. The real success of federalism can be attributed to the nature of democratic politics in our country. The spirit of federalism, respect for diversity, and desire for living together become shared ideals in our country. Then the government began or started taking measures of forming states on the basis of language. So the first one is, how did they form states based on language? What was the ultimate outcome? We go to the first, it says linguistic states. States formed on the basis of language. This was a major test for democratic politics in India. Many old states have vanished and many new states have been created. Boundaries of old states were changed in order to create new states. This was to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. While some states were created to recognize differences based on culture, ethnicity, or geography. For example, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. However, it was feared that this division based on language, would lead to the disintegration of the country. But this division based on language produced results that were actually unexpected. But this made the country more united and made administration easier. The next, the language policy. The second test for Indian Federation was the language policy. Our constitution did not give status of a national language to any one language. Hindi was identified as the official language, but only about 40% of the population use Hindi as their mother tongue. Other languages had to be safeguarded. There are 21 languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. States too have their own official languages. Our leaders adopted a very cautious attitude in spreading the use of Hindi. According to the Constitution, the use of English for official purposes was to stop from 1965. However, many non-Hindi states demanded the use of English to continue. Like in Tamil Nadu, the movement became violent and the central government agreed to continue the use of English along with Hindi for official purposes. The promotion of Hindi by the government of India does not mean that the central government can impose Hindi on states where people speak a different language. This flexibility shows that our leaders helped our country to avoid a civil war. Let's go on to the next. It says center state relations. Restructuring center state relations is in one way in which federalism has been strengthened in India. How power sharing works in reality depends largely on how the ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements. The party which ruled at the center also ruled in most of the states. Therefore, state governments did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. The central government would misuse the constitution to dismiss state governments ruled by rival political parties. This undermined the spirit of federalism. In 1990, there was a significant change. Regional political parties rose in many states. They became powerful. And the era of coalition governments at the center began. Now, no single party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. So national parties entered into an alliance with several regional parties.